Welcome back, everybody. Now, KwaZulu-Natal-based writer and public servant Vukani Khumalo recently released his debut book titled The Groping Don, a Threshold President. Now, this is an absolutely hilarious political satire that follows the shenanigans of President Donald Josh Graft of a fictional country called the United Scandals of Trumperica as being impeached and persecuted for being sexually inappropriate with a woman called Jessica Huckabee, amongst other charges. Now, Vukani is joining us now from our Durban studios to tell us more about this book. Vukani, a very warm welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you very much, Simpiwe. Thanks for having me.
You know, as I was linking to this interview, I mean, I couldn't stop laughing, but the book is not necessarily about US President Donald Trump, but I understand that it was inspired by him, wasn't it?
Definitely, it was inspired by him. It was inspired by the unconventional character that he displays from when he was campaigning to become president up until now. That character is still there. He's still very, very unconventional. It was inspired by him.
So you started the book in the year 2017, just after President Graft is booted out of office for allegedly trying to force himself on Jessica. Take us through how the book unfolds from there.
Yeah. Okay. Now, after he tried to force himself on a fellow cabinet minister, Jessica Huckabee, he was impeached from being president, and then after that, well, the book starts towards the end. When it is being booted out, that is where it starts from the end, and then in the middle of the book, that is where it gives you the history when he was campaigning to become president, name calling people that were campaigning against him, like the person who was campaigning from the opposition party, the Liberal Party. He was from the Conservative Party, and his opponent from the opposition party, he called him names and all other people, which is the reason why he received this name, the Groping Don, as well.
Yeah, and the main character in the book, Don Graft, is a fictional character, of course, with traits similar to those of Donald Trump. Break down these Don characters for us, if you can.
Yes, Donald Graft is a very powerful person and seemingly invincible. He likes gorgeous women. He's coming from a very wealthy family. From when he was a child, his parents were very wealthy. So he grew up to become a very successful businessman himself, but he had this penchant for gorgeous women, but he had a very horrible attitude towards women. He didn't have a good manner of approach towards women, which is what eventually led to his downfall. From when he was a little boy, 10-year-old, he tried to kiss a girl at school, and his mother had to be called to school. And then later on, when he was at university, he raped his girlfriend, but believed that you can't rape your own girlfriend. He believed that it was preposterous that he could rape his own girlfriend. And then that character just kept on going and going and going. His wealth actually caused this narcissistic character. And then when he later became the president, it continued. And when he added political power to the power that he had as a wealthy business person. And that is when he eventually tried to force himself on Jessica Huckabee and was eventually impeached. But even as president, he ran his country, or managed his country like a monarchy. Which is the reason why, if you look at the cover page of the book, you will see that you see a man sitting on a royal chair wearing a throne and a royal robe, and then is in clown shoes. That is how he ran his country. He ran his country as if it was his own. Even when he was appointing ministers, he sat with his own family to decide, he asked his own family to say, get me the names of the people that I will appoint as ministers, which is what you would expect in a monarchy, not in a democratic country. So that is how he ran his country, and he treated his ministers like his own boys and girls. They didn't have much to say. They always listened to him. He did everything that he wanted.
And I suppose this is why he was referred to as the threshold president of the United Scandal of Trumperica. And I would imagine in order for you to pen this book down, you had to do extensive research and follow each and every move that Donald Trump's make. Take us through that process.
Most definitely. Like many South Africans, I was interested I am still interested in what is happening in America. As you know, it's a powerful country. Whatever happens in America, it affects all of us. So I was interested when they started campaigning. So I was watching everything that was happening there. In fact, I wasn't even intending to write anything regarding the American presidential election. But when he won, because everyone believed that he was going to lose, it was Hillary Clinton's to lose. So when he won, that is when I started thinking, oh, wow, you can actually write something about what happened. It's something that was totally unexpected. And given the fact that this guy was an enigma, no one or most people did not expect such a conflicted character to come out of the US system. We grew up knowing that only the best come out of the US system. So when he became president, I then started to say, okay, maybe someone can write The Groping Don. In fact, the name The Groping Don, how it came about, you'd recall that when he was campaigning, he was giving people names. Like there was Ted Cruz was called the Lying Ted. Marco Rubio was Little Marco. Hillary Clinton herself was Crooked Hillary. So I was asking myself while they were campaigning to say, why isn't a single person calling him the Groping Don? Because there was a plethora of women who were accusing him of having groped them or sexually molested them all his life. So when I decided to write the book, I then named it The Groping Don. The fictional character, Donald Graft, I wanted to go to town about the character. So initially it was just The Groping Don. Okay. But as time went on, you'll remember that he used a very unsavory term towards African countries, the African continent itself, which I don't think it would be proper to use it on television. But it looks similar to the threshold. So I decided to say, okay, it's The Groping Don, a threshold president. That's how I did it. But yes, in terms of research, I had to ensure that I watch television, I research on the internet and everything to ensure that what I wrote did make sense, even though it wasn't necessarily about Donald Trump.
And you say The Groping Dawn is dedicated to all the victims and survivors of bigotry, misogyny, and sexual harassment. Do take us through that.
Yes, like I said, that he had a very unsavory attitude towards women. There's a number of women that he's alleged to have groped, even this fictional character, the Groping Dawn. There's a lot of women that he's alleged to have groped. So that is how the Groping Dawn came about, because of that.
So, okay, what are your views on the current political landscape in the United States, particularly with the impeachment process of President Donald Trump, with the country going into elections next year?
Okay, firstly, I'm happy that actually the book was published in July of this year, before he was impeached, which means that it was a prediction of some sort. He was only impeached at the beginning of this month by the House of Representatives. But my view is that it doesn't look like anything is going to happen to him. I've seen analysis which say that he might resign. I don't think so. I think he will be exonerated by the Senate, which is the majority of which are the Republicans. So I don't think that he is going to leave the presidency. I think they're going to support him.
Now I know this will make for some hilarious comic entertainment. Thank you so much for your time and for this hilarious offering. That was Vukani Khumalo joining us from our Durban studios to tell us about his book, a political satire titled The Groping Don, a Trash Hole President. Well, if you belong to a book club or you are a lone reader, you can also join us for a Sunday morning book feature to talk about some of the books that you are currently reading or have read. Just send us a detailed description of your book club on email. You can also send us a picture of those books with a brief caption using our social media platforms. You can use our handle at Morning Live SABC or hashtag Morning Live SABC. You can also tag or send us a Facebook message via our page Morning Live SABC. And our email address is morninglive@sabc.co.za. We take a quick break. We'll put it back.
The fossil hominid sites at Sterkfontein Caves, known as Cradle of Humankind, were declared a World Heritage Site on the 2nd of December 1999. The Cradle of Humankind covers an area of over 47,000 hectares of privately owned land northwest of Johannesburg. Most of the sites is on dolomite, a rock type which is slightly soluble in water,